Hey everybody, it's Cathy Alessandra, and we are here for the launching episode of Coffee Talk with Cathy. I am super excited to be here. I'm Cathy Alessandra, also known as the Yes I Can Coach, and I work with women entrepreneurs around the globe, helping them live their best life while incorporating business and personal life and really finding some harmony between that. So Coffee Talk with Cathy is meant to be a fun, short, inspiring little show for you every Thursday morning at 9 a.m. Pacific time. Whether you're watching it, well, let's see, we're streaming on YouTube Live, we are streaming on the Facebook group, a couple of different groups there, my Facebook page, as well as LinkedIn. So you can hop over to any one of those places and watch live every Thursday. And if not, the recordings will be there so that you can watch a little bit later in your day. So today I wanted to bring you a very special person that I just adore. And she's going to be our launch little interview here. Pam Owens is longtime friend. Girl, we go back. It's been a few years, been a minute or two, right? Yeah. And she does all kinds of amazing things in her company, in her personal life, her books. And she's actually going to be the MC and one of the keynote speakers at the upcoming Yes I Can Experience event. I know. I am so excited. This experiential conference for women entrepreneurs is just got me so fired up to bring everybody back in the room to have fun and excitement and learn and camaraderie and community and all that fabulous stuff. So anyway, Pam, first of all, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
So tell me just a little bit, tell our audience a little bit about who you are and what you do.
So my name is Pamela Benson Owens. As you said, I do a lot of things, but I'm a co-CEO between my company, Edge of Your Seat Consulting, which is a consulting firm that has an HR kind of underpinning and suite that helps organizations address complex issues. And then I also get to be the CEO of Six Square, which is the Black Cultural Arts District in Austin, Texas. And so I've been an entrepreneur for a long time, and I am probably the most excited to be coming to the upcoming conference. It's been a while since women have been in a room together. I'm going to be hugging folks. I'm going to tell you right now, hugging folks. Excited about what's going to happen there, what you're going to bring to it. It's not a secret. I tell people, like, I get to have Cathy coach me. Every coach needs a coach. And so Cathy's mine and a trusted resource. And so you spend any time at that conference or with her as a client, you are going to absolutely flourish and grow.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Yeah, trusted resource as well. Let's talk about that for just a minute, about those trusted resources that we have in our life and our business and the importance of that, because you talk about that. I see, like, even in one of your posts this week or last week about that, having that that relationship, that trusted advisor or that person how does that play a role in your life and business?
I think that it took me a very long time, and I am not a young spring chicken, but it has taken me a long time to figure out the difference in collaborators, co-conspirators, mentors, sponsors, allies, friends. As women, we're naturally nurturers. I know people are like, well, that's not for everybody, but we are actually most often nurturers. So we go to the friend zone quickly, and not everybody gets that spot, and then we're disappointed. And so part of it is understanding that people come into your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime, and to give them the opportunity to actually be in the spot that best fits them versus trying to make everybody a friend. So as you know, I have a small circle. I have people that I really trust. You are one of them, and it's small. And I would always tell people, like, don't decide what you think your circle is supposed to look like. Mine is a very diverse, eclectic circle for a variety of different things. And by the way, I actually have men. There are men in my circle, right? That's important. But when it comes to people who are in my circle and my corner too, very small. And you really can't be a really successful entrepreneur if you don't have kind of a trusted circle and corner group that's going to tell you the truth. Mm-hmm. That's gonna pull you back and say, hey, hold on a second, or it's gonna push you out of the nest and go, stop doing that. So I'm really big about the trusting components. And I think that you only get there by having been burned a couple times. Like, I've been burned a couple times where ouch, where I'm like, oh my gosh, let's not repeat that again. And guess what I did? I repeated that again, because I think that everybody is, without ego and willing to help, and they're not. And that's not a slight. It's just really, really get to know people, and not everybody gets a front seat in the car. And that's okay. It's not anything ugly. It's just real.
Right. That is so true. I mean, I've talked about this before. Not everybody has the permission or should have the permission to be in all that space with us, right? I mean, all those different pieces. I mean, it's even for me, right? It's that core group of people who have my back and I have theirs. And there's a different mindset too. When you're an entrepreneur and you're right. And sometimes others might want to hold us back because they don't understand or they don't want us to go there or whatever. And so having that trusted circle of advisors or those people that you can lean on and that see the real you, I think is just incredibly important.
It's critical. I think the other thing that we don't talk about enough is, in addition to that behavior, what is also required is that if the rooms that I'm not in, I fully expect you, Cathy, to speak up and defend my honor. Like, we don't talk about that enough, right? It's like, if you are an accomplice to the conversation and somebody is saying something disparaging about your colleague or your co-conspirator, we have a responsibility to go, hey, I'm going to stop you. That is not what I know of Cathy. I'm going to stop this conversation right now. Let's call Cathy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just shut it down. We spend a lot of time in mess like that prevents us from basically living our yes.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. I think as leaders, I mean, and that's one of the things you're going to be talking about. Well, you're going to be giving us your percolation nuggets during the conference. So if you have not connected with Pam yet, she's got this great book, Percolations, but she also does it on Facebook. And so sometimes you'll see her percolations where it's this stream of consciousness and there's bullet points. There's things here, lessons that she's learned, hard lessons that she's learned and gone through, right? Right. You are not sharing or teaching anything that you haven't already been through yourself, and see it. To be able to share with others to, not make it as difficult, and we can learn from those lessons and maybe not have to go through them. But as a leader and as growing and helping support and nurturing other leaders, what are some of the key things, or maybe even just one key nugget or percolation you might want to share today of how you can really step in and be the best leader you can possibly be?
Oh my gosh, that's such a loaded question. I think that now that we've had to lead during a pandemic, we don't talk about that enough, right? And so empathy has been this like trendy thing. And I'm like, that's the only thing. And that you have to be actually willing to look outside of yourself and see the people that you are leading. I always say to people, if you are not clear on if you believe leaders are born or made, start there. Whenever I coach leaders, I'm like, what's your perspective on that? Because that is going to actually set the tone for how you walk into the space to lead. Do you believe leaders are born or made? Are you clear on why? There's not a right or wrong answer, but there's a construct around how you'll come to the space to lead people. I say to people all the time, I've been leading for 29 years. I'm an excellent leader when I don't lead people. But when I have to lead humans, right, it's complicated. It's complicated. And then you lay over that cultural norms around how people think about themselves as professionals, educational attainment, geography, how they were raised in their family system. Then you add ethnicity and girl, it's steep. So I always say to people, tell me what you think. Are leaders born or made? And depending on that, that really is something to get reflective on. And then how do you embed that into the work that you're doing with people? And you will find, you will unearth some unconscious bias and some other stuff that you didn't even know you had based on that framework.
Right. Right. Oh, I love that. You are going to, let me just show you y'all. She's going to be rocking the stage at the Yes, I Can experience. I'm telling you, the stuff that comes out of her mouth is just, I'm whenever we get together and we're doing the notes that I leave with, right. And the inspiration and the challenge and the accountability, right. It's just even as girlfriends in business. Mm-hmm. So speaking about inspiration, what do you go to? What is your go-to resource when you are looking for that inspiration or you need a little motivation? What do you do?
Oh my gosh, I love that question. So I meditate. I've been meditating now for a couple of years, and I get up about 4:30, 5 a.m. And I used to meditate for like 5 minutes, but now I meditate for about an hour. So my go-to is stillness. And of course, I'm a book nerd, and so I'm always looking for quotes, and I'm always looking for inspirational books. I do a devotional every day without fail to center me. But really, my go-to is stillness, and it's stillness without guilt. So sometimes, people walk by my office like, what are you doing? Staring at the wall? Doing what? Staring at the wall. Because I've just learned that you have to just, in order to not be reactive in this busy, ridiculously paced world, my go-to, my peace is I'm going to be still for a minute before I respond to that email. I'm going to be still for a minute before I make an assumption. I'm going to be still for a minute before I call that person to figure out what's going on. And it has been there's power in the pause, and it has saved my leadership journey and frankly, my life.
Yeah. Yeah. We all need to do that, right? The reactive versus the responsive. And how many times in this craziness, right, do we send, like, we hit reply immediately on that email, like, and we start to just go at the keyboard about this, right? Or we pick up that phone and we want it. And as a leader, particularly as a leader, and anybody watching this, taking 10 minutes to watch this, is a leader, right? Mm-hmm. We have got to learn to take a step back. And I love that, the power in the pause. I mean, we have to reflect that back to our communities as well, right? It's a matter of, and stillness, the idea that there's no guilt, there's no shame, there's no nothing. Take a moment. And it's any time of the day or email or family, business, whatever, right? I mean, it's just, stillness.
Well, the bottom line is, for those of us who are out there and that are the data heads that want to understand the return on investment of stillness, let me just say, it takes about 10 seconds to jack it up, and sometimes 3 years in an organization or with your reputation to fix it. So there's your nugget, right? So I have had situations where I was reactive and just went into it, and I'm still paying for those behaviors. So stillness has really become part of just my practice, both mentally, physically, and spiritually. And I have found that when I do that, I make less kind of catastrophic, reactive mistakes. It's just not good to be amped up at that level all the time. Our bodies were not designed to do that. So sometimes people will be like, hey, what do you think about that? I'm like, I don't know yet. Hey, I need an answer on that right now. I think you're confusing urgent and important. I'll call you back tomorrow. Like, I don't let people force me anymore, where I used to just blurt out something and be like, clean up on aisle 10. Pam has made a mess. Pam has made a mess of this again. So I really just brought it down. Like, I truly, like, even on travel now, I don't like that whole, like, go in and run, come out. I don't do that anymore. I don't go to a city to do a speech for a day and get back on a plane anymore. I'm going to be there at least 24 hours.
I think there's something to be said about living life intentionally with all of that, with all of what you just said, right? Life, period, intentionally.
Yep. But part of it is that you're teaching around, like, what is my yes about and what is my yes for, and being intentional about my yes. That'll get you straightened out too. Like, how often you do an obligatory yes, as soon as it's out of your mouth, you realize it's a no. You're worried that people are going to
strategic yeses, abundant no's, right? Yeah,
exactly. And so you're already down the road. You're like, I shouldn't be doing this. I know I shouldn't be doing this. And then you're in that obligatory land. Like, you've really helped me get that, hone in on that. Like, that piece is essential to your existence as a leader.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And that's one of the first things we're going to be starting with at the Yes, I Can conference. I mean, I am making this an experiential event for women entrepreneurs. And one of the first things we're going to be talking about is your why. Why are you doing what you're doing? What's behind it all, right? Because I think that really drives how we are driven, what we do, how we show up, the success that we're going to have or not, the obstacles and the challenges we can face, the ability to stand still. I mean, all these things, right? If we don't have that why behind it is, and it's not just the personal why, it's the business why, it's all of it. And I think that's what the core of living your Yes, I Can life, and how you can face it and get past those obstacles and those fears and those doubts and the challenges that are inevitably going to be coming our way on a daily basis. Heck, sometimes on an hourly basis. It's not
girl, sometimes on a minute basis. And what I love about the way you're going to start that is the line that, and I was journaling about this at some point in one of your courses, is when I started mastering that piece, then my failures weren't as painful because I could back up a why. So if you fail and know your why, it's empowering. If you fail and you don't know your why, you are disoriented, right? So I have really taken to heart your work with me around that, because if I fail now, I at least can speak to, well, my reason for doing this, or my why, or what what my passion was or what motivated me or propelled me was this. It creates a life lesson versus this like pit of despair. Woe is me. It's now more like, what am I to learn from that? I was clear on my why, so the failure doesn't feel so steep.
Yeah, it's a great point there you just made. All right, so let's wind this up. Let's bring it all home. My final question for you is, as always, what makes you a yes, I can woman?
Oh, you always ask me that, and I still don't have it down. What makes me a yes, I can woman is I am willing to show up. I feel like I've underestimated the power of just showing up, and there are 100,000 reasons to say I'm not going to do it. But I have really embraced, yes, I can show up in the space. And when I do that, I have never been disappointed. I am so excited about coming to the conference. I already know before I land that I'm going to get a lot out of it because I chose to show up. So if people are out there like, I don't know, sure you do. You are worth the investment to come and be poured into, learn from other women, learn from you, Cathy. Like, don't delay. It is an important investment in your growth and your development and in your future, for sure. So that's what makes me, yes, I can. I show up.
Yeah. And that's the first most important thing in anything in our lives, right? We've got to show up. We have got to show up. Showing up is half the battle. Showing up is, and then if we come with that, I mean, and I love the way you explained it too. It's really coming with that open-handed approach.
Yep. I say that every morning on the treadmill. Every morning on the treadmill, I'll say, it'll be worth it. It still doesn't feel like it until after.
Right.
But you got to show up.
Right. Yeah. Got to show up. All right. Well, thank you, Pam. I can't thank you enough for your time today and sharing your percolating nuggets with us and everything else in the conference. Listen, if you have not bought your ticket yet to the Yes, I Can experience, I hope you will do that. ASAP. Things are filling up. It is going to be an amazing full day, an experiential event for women entrepreneurs to come learn business building techniques. We're going to be doing tons of networking. We're going to be talking about collaboration, and we're going to have my signature mastermind that we do at lunch where everybody gets a chance to talk and network and brainstorm ideas about their business and what's going on and what they're learning during that lunchtime. And that's gold. That is gold, really connecting with the other women there. Join us next Thursday. We'll be back next Thursday at 9 a.m. Pacific time for another episode of Coffee Talk with Cathy. We'll have another guest. Bring your favorite beverage, whether it's coffee, tea, or depending upon where you are, maybe it's your lunch. And I look forward to seeing you then. Any questions? Looking for how to connect and get to me or the conference or Pam or anything else? Check the show notes below. And until then, we will hopefully see you on March 16th, and we'll see you definitely next Thursday online. Thanks so much, Pam. Have a great day. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.